leases a car. Diego buys the same car. They both think they made the smarter choice. They're both wrong, because neither one of them ran the actual numbers. And when you do, the gap between them is way bigger than either of them expected. Let's keep this fair. Ryan and Diego both earn $58,000 a year. They both want the same car, a 32,000 size sedan, same model, same trim, same color. They walk into the same dealership on the same afternoon. The only difference is what they sign. Ryan signs a 36-month lease, $2,500 due at signing, $329 a month. The finance manager tells him he's making the smart play. Low monthly payment, brand new car, full warranty, and in 3 years he just hands the keys back and walks away. Clean, simple, no strings attached. At least that's how it's pitched. Diego takes out a 65% fine interest. His down payment's $4,000 and his monthly payment is $549. That's $220 more than Ryan every single month. Nobody has to point that out to Diego. He feels it the moment he signs. On day one, Ryan's wallet is heavier, his payment is lighter, and he drives off the lot feeling like he beat the system. But there's something Ryan doesn't understand yet. The structure of his deal is completely different from Diego's, in a way that has nothing to do with the size of the monthly payment. Every dollar Diego spends is buying him a piece of something. Every dollar Ryan spends is renting a piece of something. And over time, that difference is worth tens of thousands of dollars. For 3 years, Ryan is living the easy version of car ownership. Brand new car smell, full manufacturer warranty, zero anxiety, transmission sensor glitches, covered. Brakes need replacing early, covered. Air conditioning compressor dies in the middle of August, covered. Ryan's only real costs are his lease payment, insurance, and gas. That's the whole list. No surprise repair bills. No 2 a.m. panic about a check engine light. Diego's experience looks nothing like that. He's paying $549 a month and watching his car lose value while he drives it. The second he pulls off the lot, his $32,000 car is worth about $28,500. By the end of year 1, it's down to roughly $24,000. By year 2, maybe $2,500. Meanwhile, his loan balance is still sitting around $23,000. That means for almost 2 full years, Diego owes more on the car than the car is worth. That's called being underwater, and it feels exactly as bad as it sounds. Every payment feels like it's disappearing into nothing. Ryan sees this happening to Diego. Everyone around Diego sees it too. And the verdict looks smart call. And Diego made the rookie mistakes. Let's actually run the numbers through year 3. Plus 36 months at $329. That comes out to $2,344 total. Diego has paid $4,000 down plus $30,764 total. That's Ryan has spent $9,420 less than Diego over 3 years. On paper, that's not a small gap. Ryan is winning by nearly 10 grand. But year 3 is exactly where the story flips. Ryan's lease is up. He drives back to the dealership and he's handed 3 options. Option 1, buy the car outright at its residual value, the price the dealer locked in 3 years earlier. For a $32,000 car after 3 years, that residual usually lands somewhere between $17,000 and $19,000. Option 2, walk away, hand back the keys, owe nothing further. Option 3, lease a brand new car and start the whole cycle over again. Ryan does what almost 80% of leasers do. He leases as again, another $2,100 at signing, another 300 months a month, another 36-month term. He's back to month 1, 0 on the odometers. But the payment counter never resets. Now look at Diego. He's 36 months into a 60-month loan. He still has 24 payments left, and yes, that's frustrating. But here's the difference nobody talks about. Diego has an end date. It's a specific month, circled on a calendar, somewhere in his head. Every single payment he makes moves him one step closer to owning the car outright, free and clear. Every payment Ryan makes moves him step closer to giving the car back and starting the whole thing over from zeros. That's the real difference between leasing and buying, the one the monthly payment conversation completely buries. One path is a conveyor belt, the other path has a finish line. Month 60 arrives. Diego makes his final payment. That's it. Done. The car is his. Title in hand, no lender, no more monthly draft coming out of his account. From here forward, his only car-related costs are insurance, gas, and maintenance. For an average sedan, that maintenance runs somewhere around $100 to $160 a month. Oil changes, tires, brake pads, the occasional surprise. Ryan is still swiping his card for $320 every single month. He barely notices it anymore because it's become part of the background of his life. That's the quiet danger of leasing. It normalizes a car payment that never actually ends. It stops feeling like a bill and starts feeling like a fact of life. But background noise still costs real money, month after month, year after year. Let's check the scoreboard at the end of year 6. Ryan has now finished 2 complete lease cycles. Lease 1, $2,500 down plus $11,840 per down plus $11,840 for in payments. Total spent $28,688. And what does he own at the end of it? Nothing. No asset, no title, just a stack of payment receipts and a car that was never his. Diego, meanwhile, has spent $4,000 down plus $30,940 in loan payments, for a total of $36,940 on the loan itself. But he now has 0 monthly payments, and he owns a car worth somewhere between $12. Subtract that asset value from what he spent, and his effective cost lands around $23,000 to $25,000. Ryan, $28,688 spent, 0 assets. Diego, roughly $24,000 effective cost, and a paid-off car sitting in his driveway. The flip happened quietly, without a single dramatic moment, but it happened. And from this point on, every month that passes makes Diego's position stronger and Ryan's position weaker. The monthly payment is the number the dealership puts directly in front of your face. It's the number in the commercial, the number on the website banner, the number written on the little card and slid across the desk with a smile. What doesn't get slid across the desk is the list of conditions hiding underneath that number, mileage caps. Most standard leases cap you at 10,000 to 12,000 miles a year. That sounds generous until you realize the average American driver puts about 13,500 miles a year on their car, which means the average driver is already over their limit before the lease even ends. The penalty is typically 15 to 25 cents per mile over the cap. Go 5,000 miles over across a 3-year lease, and you owe somewhere between $750 and $1,250 the moment you return the car. You don't find out until that final walk-around inspections. It just appears on your bill, like a surprise tax on your own driving habits, wear and tear. When you return a leased car, an inspector walks around it with a clipboard, that parking lot door ding, the coffee stain on the back seat from your kid's spilled juice box, the curb rash on the wheel from one bad parallel parking attempt. All of it is billable. And here's the part people miss. Normal wear and tear is defined by the leasing company, not by you. What feels totally reasonable to you might be a $250 charge, disposition fees. Most people have never even heard of this one. When you return a leased car and don't immediately lease another one from the same dealer, you get hit with a disposition fee, usually $300 to $500, just to cover the cost of them processing and reselling the car you already paid to drive. You are quite literally paying them to take the car back, and if your life changes in the middle of a lease, a move, a layoff, a new baby, a change in commute, getting out early can cost you the entire remaining balance of the contract. There's no clean exit. You're locked in for the length of the term, whether your circumstances cooperate or not. None of these costs show up in that friendly $329 numbers. But they show up eventually, one way or another. Now, if I only showed you the downsides of leasing, I wouldn't be giving you the honest picture. Buying has real costs too, and people who love ownership tend to conveniently forget them. Once that manufacturer warranty runs out, usually somewhere around year 3 or 4, everything becomes your problem. Brake pads wear thin, belts crack, tires age out, the AC compressor decides to die on the single hottest day of summer. And unlike a leased car, there's no warranty line to call. You're either paying a mechanic or learning to fix it yourself on a Saturday afternoon. For a typical sedan, out-of-warranty maintenance averages around $100 to $1,900 a year. Some years it's just oil changes and a set of tires. Other years, it's a $2,300 transmission repair that wrecks your entire month's budget. That unpredictability is genuinely the hardest part for a lot of buyers to stomach. With a lease, you always know exactly what you're paying. With ownership, you don't, and depreciation is very real. Your $32,000 car is worth roughly $2,500 after 2 years, and maybe $13,000 after 5. That value didn't transform into anything useful, it just evaporated into thin air. The one thing working in the buyer's favor is that depreciation slows down dramatically after the first few years. A 5-year-old car doesn't lose value nearly as fast as a brand new one rolling off the lot. So the longer you hold on to it, the less depreciation actually hurts you. Time is the buyer's best friend, and it only gets better the longer you wait. Here's where the full 10-year story comes together. Over a decade, Ryan has leased 3 to 4 different cars. Each full cycle costs him roughly $13,000 to $14,500 once you include payments and fees. Add in mileage overages, wear and tear charges, and disposition fees across multiple leases, and Ryan's total 10-year spend lands somewhere between $48,000 and $55,000. At the end of year 10, Ryan has no car, or rather he has a car but it was never his, not for a single day. Diego paid $36,940 for his loan. After that, he spent somewhere around $11,000 to zero on maintenance and repairs across the following 5 to 7 years of ownership. His total 10-year spend lands around $47,000 to $52,000, and he still has a car parked in his driveway right now. Older, sure, showing some wear, but worth $4,500 to $6,000, and completely paid off. When you net it all out, Diego spent roughly the same, and walked away with an asset. Ryan spent roughly the same, and walked away with nothing. The gap over a full decade sits somewhere between $15,000 and $22,000. Depending on the exact lease terms, maintenance luck, and how long Diego decides to keep driving that paid-off car. And remember, that's just one vehicle. Most people repeat this exact cycle 3, 4, sometimes 5 times across their adult lives. Multiply that gap by 5 and you're staring at a 6-figure difference in lifetime wealth between the person who habitually leases and the person who buys and holds. I'd be lying if I told you leasing never makes sense. There are specific situations where the math genuinely tilts in leasing's favor. If you're self-employed or you run a business, lease payments can often be partially or fully deductible as a business expense, depending on how the vehicle is used. That tax advantage alone can erase the entire ownership gap, and in some cases make leasing the clearly smarter financial move. If you drive a luxury or high-performance vehicle, something where out-of-warranty repairs are genuinely brutal, leasing keeps you inside that warranty window permanently. When an oil change runs $400 and a single brake job runs $3,800, that ongoing warranty coverage has real, measurable dollars. Leasing a luxury sedan is a completely different financial conversation than leasing an economy car, and if you're the specific kind of disciplined person who takes the $220 a month you're saving by leasing and actually invests it consistently into an index fund averaging 8 to 10% a year, you could theoretically come out ahead of a buyer over a long enough timeline. But that requires real discipline, the kind most people talk about having, and very few people actually practice. Be honest with yourself about whether you genuinely invest that difference every single month, or whether it would just quietly disappear into dinners out and subscription services. For the average person driving an average car, buying and holding wins. It's not the exciting answer. Nobody's filming a viral video about their 8-year-old paid-off sedan sitting in the driveway. But the math doesn't care what's exciting. It just adds up, month after month, whether you're watching or not. Ryan and Diego both walked into that dealership convinced they were making the smart play. Ryan thought he was saving money. Diego thought he was building equity. Neither one of them actually sat down and ran the full numbers past month 1. The real trap here isn't leasing, and it isn't buying either. The real trap is making a $32,000 decision based entirely on a monthly payment, without ever asking what that decision actually costs you over 5 years, over 10 years, over a lifetime of repeating the same choice. And if you're already thinking about skipping financing altogether and just paying cash up front for your next car, that's a completely different conversation, with its own surprising answer. But for now, the next time somebody slides a monthly payment across a desk, and it looks almost too good to be true, ask yourself one question. What does this actually cost me by the time it's all over? Because that's the only number that ever really matters.